Hello, everyone. So it's the finale for Canada. Yay. And we are so excited.
Finally.
We are excited. Kathy's here with me, and we have JJ Thompson. Hello, JJ. How are you?
Hi everyone, I'm great. Thank you for having me.
And now some of you are going to recognize JJ's face because he was in the finale playing at the Roxy, which actually is a real place. JJ, we had someone come on a couple of weeks ago, and she was showing us all the different, because she lives not far away, and she actually took pictures and went inside. It's a movie theater, right? And
Hmm.
she was showing us the different parts and whatnot. But we also know that a lot of the interior shots are also on a set. So you'll have to tell us what your experience was like. But we're excited that you're here, and tell us a little bit about your band.
Yeah, so I have a band out of Toronto called JJ and the Pillars, and we're folky, and we do a lot of cover gigs, which is part of the reason why I got this bit on the way home, actually. But yeah, we're JJ and the Pillars. You can find us on Spotify, and um, I'm sorry, I'm getting nervous here.
No, don't get nervous.
How did you land the gig with the way home?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was playing a little cover gig right at the base of the CN Tower, basically at a brewery called Steam Whistle. Actually, I have one right here. And
Steam Whistle. So wait a minute.
yeah, Steam Whistle.
That's located not far from you, because so anybody's in the area, then we'll want them to go visit.
Yeah,
Steam Whistle.
Toronto. Yeah, most of my gigs are there. So yeah,
Okay.
people can find me in Toronto quite a bit. Yeah,
All right.
I was playing a little cover gig, and it just happened to be that the show one of the show creators was there that day, and she approached me and said that she had a birthday party coming up, and she said that she liked my '90s repertoire. And anyways, yeah, she hired me for this birthday party, and we did all '90s songs, me and my band, and she said, by the way, we have this kind of thing that we might want to involve you in. We can't say much, but it's going to be about the '90s. So would you be interested in doing maybe a cover of a Red Hot Chili Peppers song or something like that, and acoustifying it? And I said, oh, that'd be great. And it ended up being a little more special for me because I got to play one of my originals on the show instead. So
Right. So I have a question. Did you realize it was Alexandra, right? I think that's who
it
you
was Alexandra. Yeah.
did you realize who she was, like what her job was, what she was doing, or did you just know that you were going to be playing at a birthday party?
Yeah, I just thought I was playing a normal birthday party, but then once I heard some of the conversations about the TV shows and
Right, right.
the industry experience, I was pretty intimidated, but I was very excited about the opportunity, you know.
Okay, so now you're there playing all the 90s music, which I were you playing 90s music that night at the was it Steam Whistle? Is that what his name is?
Yeah, well, I'm a '90s kid, so most of my
Okay.
rep ends up being '90s songs anyway. So yeah, I was pretty much focusing on that like alternative '90s stuff, and yeah, and she said that yeah, this would be the perfect vibe for our kind of themed birthday party, which is centered around Way Home and the time travel back to the '90s and everything.
Oh my gosh, this is so cool. Go ahead. What were you going to say,
So
Kathy?
when it comes to the way home, what came first, the TV series or the song?
So yeah, I wrote this song. I wrote this song in 2017,
Yeah.
literally just about that feeling of going back to your small town and getting that feeling of oh, I love it so much. I want to. I feel like I want to be here, but you know, is nostalgia kind of intoxicating me, or where do I want to actually live? Where do I want to stay? Where do I want to raise a family? And those kind of feelings of driving home and yeah, trying to choose a new kind of way to get there every time.
So now, go ahead. Go ahead, Kathy.
I'm sorry, I feel like I'm hogging
No.
JJ.
Oh.
So can you describe the moment or the circumstance of the powers that be at the way home discovering you had this song already done called the way home?
That's like wild.
Yeah, yeah, it is like yeah, it's total happenstance. Basically, a couple weeks before the shoot, they said, hey, we have like something has gone on with one of the cast members, and we need to get this done as soon as possible. We're sorry for the late notice, but can you be here in 2 weeks on a Tuesday, basically, and have the band come up and play an original song? And I said, oh, well, it's good that it's a Tuesday because we're gigging musicians. Usually it's only on weekends.
Yes, yes.
But I said, yeah, we can do it, this last minute thing. And they said, do you have any songs that would fit this scene? And they sent me the script. And at the top of the script, it says "The Way Home," and that was the first time that I had seen what the actual show title was. So I said to the people, like the music people for the show, I said, this might be like a little on the head, but I do have a song called "Way Home." It might work. And so, anyways, they listened to it, and that's where the joke of the unofficial anthem kind of
Yeah.
started. Was they were like, "Oh my God, this is perfect! Like, I wish we didn't have like a theme song already. This would have been amazing for the show and stuff." So, anyways, they picked that one, and they think that the message of the song too kind of fits,
It
you know,
did.
the plot of the show as well.
Now, where can we can hear that, right? We can get it on Spotify.
Yes, you can. It's definitely not one of my most popular songs, but I'm hoping it will be now that
Yes.
people have heard it on TV.
Yes. Now, tell us what the experience. So when you had to go, and were you actually inside the Roxy, because it looks different because they made it not look like a theater anymore, but then I thought it kind of still did. So were you in the actual theater that is there in, I forget which town it is, or were you in the studio that they built?
No, yeah. So we were in the theater all day. Like we were in that red seat theater, comfy
Okay.
seats, by the way. So that was nice because I found out that day that film shoots take a very long time, even for a 30-second segment. It's about
Yeah.
16 hours. So
Oh,
I
wow.
respect actors. Oh my God, the waiting and the different takes that they have to do. It's fascinating. And then I believe the set that they built was like in an area of the theater that was more for like maybe like popcorn and stuff, but they
Okay.
made it look amazing in there. Like it almost looked like a fine dining restaurant in the front of a very small town theater.
That's cool. So 16 hours, like how long were you actually on the stage performing?
I was up there for a lot of the day because there was a lot of shots of the crowd as well,
Yes.
and they thought, it might be more realistic if we have you playing. And
Yes.
then it got to a point where they were playing my song over and over again. I felt so bad for all the extras and the cast members for hearing the same 30 seconds of it over and over again.
Yeah.
But I was sitting there clapping, getting the whole cast going. And by the end of it, I'm sitting there and I'm looking out and I see, Andy McDowell and Kyler and Evan. I
Yeah.
see them all singing along at the end.
Yes.
And I'm like, this is absolutely wild.
And what's really nice is they all sing, all of them. They
Yeah.
really sing. Sadie, she sings and plays, and she did that night. That she was part of the show. Um, and even Andy McDowell sings. They all sing. We're like, we have to get them all together singing. That would be cool. That's
Home
really cool.
choir.
Pardon me?
The WayHome choir.
Yes, yes, yes. Now, who was in the band with you? Who was it? You were there, and who was with you that night?
So that day, yeah, it was my childhood best friend, Aaron, who is my drummer for a lot of my gigs.
Right.
And him and I have been playing together since we were 15 years old. And then if you noticed on my Spotify, there's a girl in the band.
Yes.
That's my fiance, Alyssa.
Yes. I
But
saw her
unfortunately,
ring. You had like a picture with her ring. Yes.
exactly. So
Yeah.
unfortunately, she wasn't available that Tuesday, but I just happened to have a friend of mine who's also in my band. She plays the bass usually and the piano. And I said, "Hey, do you mind like wearing your Alyssa outfit for a day and pretending you're her? We got to be on TV."
And she, of course. No, so you call up your friend and you're like, you want to be in a show. Did they believe you?
Well, being my friend, I think they did believe me
Okay.
because
Okay.
I'm always cooking up something a little different. But
Yeah.
this would probably be the biggest thing that they've got from me.
And then Kyler, not Kyler, I'm sorry, Alexandra, she did that wonderful shout out. Like she's excited about the story and how it all went down and happened.
Yeah.
That's so cool. That's a really cool story. I love it.
Yeah, I honestly can't thank her enough. It's just wild that she found me at a pub gig and gave me a big shot to be on something
I
that
know.
is so huge now.
Now, what do you have going soon? Like, do you have anything that if someone is in the area, they can come check you out?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be a long list of different gigs, but I do a lot of awesome little kind of party gigs around Toronto, and I tour around Ontario. I'm hoping to get down to the States to see you too at some point.
Cool.
But I think the best way to kind of figure that out would just to follow me on Instagram, which my personal one that I post the most on is JJ and his dog because I
That's
have
right.
a
I'll put that
cute
on.
little dog running around here
Aw,
somewhere. And then to follow JJ on the Pillars on Spotify, we put up our shows on there, and it'll give you a little notification once in a while.
all right. I got JJ and his dog. And then the one I first found you was JJ and the Pillars. Can you tell us about your band name? I don't think we shared that, did we? No, we didn't.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Tell us your
Well,
full name.
I went to school. I went to school around Ottawa in Ontario
Uh-huh.
for musical theater, and I decided I was going to move to Toronto to do musical theater there and do some stage acting. But I knew that my passion was still, music, and I wanted to play some gigs while I was in Toronto, while I wasn't, working at the bars
Yeah.
till 3 in the morning. Um, but I found it really hard to kind of find consistent band members that could always play with me. So I thought, well, if I'm gonna do this and I'm the guy that's always there, JJ, I should come up with a band name that's kind of like, JJ and the son of a guns, and but I didn't want to just have it be something that had no meaning. And I quickly realized after playing a few of my first Toronto gigs that having those other musicians with me was like super important. They were like the pillars of my musical strength. They were the pillars in my life, these people that would raise me up to be better every show and just
Yeah.
ultimately sound better. So JJ and the Pillars was born.
That was wonderful. I love that. I had said that when we were talking earlier. I have a question. When you knew that you were going to be doing this, did you have to sign like an NDA where you couldn't say anything until a certain time or no, they didn't say anything like that to you?
Or
I
can you-
signed a few things, but I don't know if I looked at them good enough to know if they were NDAs or not. But honestly, I didn't know what was going. I didn't know what was going on anyway, so I don't think I
Here's
could
a
have shared
whirlwind.
too much. Yeah.
Were you a bit starstruck too? Like just being in the room with all these wonderful people?
Yeah, I definitely was starstruck. Like, first of all, like after the first couple takes of the main primary characters hearing the song, Andy leaned over to me and she asked like a million questions about my music, which I thought was amazing, and which I immediately followed up with texting my mother. Andy McDowell just asked me about my band, so that was pretty cool. But the
Oh,
most starstruck I was over Kyler Lee because growing up as like I said, 90s kid,
yeah.
there's a movie called Not Another Teen Movie that I watched a lot as an immature boy does. And Kyler Lee was like the star in it. She played Janie. And it's been an ongoing joke in my band long before any of this happened. Me and my bandmates, when we warm up our voices, we do something from a scene from Not Another Teen Movie,
Oh my gosh.
which is like Chris Evans, the actor who plays Captain America. He's like, Janie's got a gun. So the first thing I did when I was with Kyler at the cast party, because we played that as well, was I went up and I said, without any precursor, I just came up and sang that to her, and she was like, "Oh my God," as if. And I told her the story about us warming up our voices with that. Always thinking of her at band practice.
That's cool.
I'm having a flashback to the 70s. I was a little before the 90s. What is that background you've got going on there?
Oh, yeah. I've got a little spaceman that projects the universe above me, so I feel like I'm in space when I'm in my studio.
Is that a machine or the computer?
It's a little it's actually here. I'll see if I can show it to you.
I got to get you one of those.
It's a little spaceman. I don't know if you can see it.
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or not.
Yes. Now, you know what? The top of the ceiling kind of reminds me of what the water looks like when they were going down into the pond, that disgusting pond that you're lucky you didn't have to jump in. That's how they get in and out of going from one time frame to another. So this was lovely. We thank you so much for joining us. Before you go, I want to show you all the cool things people are saying, like Greg saying, thanks for taking the time to join us. And Miriam says, you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Norma says, awesome. Did it really say play that song I wrote for you? Did it really say, did it already say play that song? I'm not quite sure what she means by that.
Oh, play that song that I wrote. It still sounds the same. That's the last line of the song. Maybe it's referring to that.
Ah.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
It's all very meta now after this Way Home stuff. It's so funny.
And you didn't, so by the way, so the song that you chose, every word stayed the same. You didn't have to alter anything. It was perfect as it was.
According to them.
That's amazing.
That was meant to be.
Yeah. Tony's saying that's awesome that you actually wrote the song in 2017.
It's almost like he went into the pond and went back to 2017.
Yes, you
And
did.
wrote the song because he knew he was going to need it. You see?
Yeah.
I'll dive back in after. I'll dive right up into it.
They're just saying it was fate and the way home. They're loving it. They love the whole story.
Amazing.
Kudos to you. The song is perfect. Hope you get more coverage. We do too.
Very much. Thank you.
Yep, that's all.
It would be fun to head on down to the US because of this. That'd be great.
Or when they have you back on the way home for another gig, you get me and Roxanne down there with you because we play a mean tambourines.
Ooh.
Yes.
Sounds good to me.
We could add value.
I'm hoping they bring me back for a little duet with Sadie. I think that'd be cool.
Well, that would be fabulous.
Yes. And people are saying that they have some of your songs already on Spotify. I was going to say Spotify. Miriam is saying that. And no, that's Miranda. And they're asking if you'll be, if they're wondering if they've talked to you about the next series at all, if you would be involved. He's got the anthem. Don't put him on the spot. He's not allowed to talk about that. So don't answer that question.
Yeah.
They're going to go now. They're going to go to Spotify to follow you after the show. Hope you get your music out there. You're awesome.
Oh, thank you very much, everyone.
Pondify. I know that's funny with my little slip of the tongue. That was funny. All right, JJ, thank you so much.
We look
thank you
forward
so
to
much.
hearing more from you and going over to Spotify and hearing more of your music. Thanks so much for spending some time with us.
Yeah, we'll
pleasure. Thank you very much.
Good night.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
We have had some awesome guests on this season. Oh my gosh.
Yep. Yes, we have. All righty. So this is the time for you to stretch, grab a drink, do whatever, like I always say. Now for this crew, I gave, let's see. I had a different picture. I'm just going to put it up there and we're going to pick a time. This is our last picture. And then you and I are going to have to put the wheel out, not tonight, and put everybody's name and do a little spinning. I'll record it and throw it out there on social media to show who wins, who the winner is. I know, love to story, people are all saying. Agree, best guests ever. What? Telling Alice to sing Colton's song. Okay, so nice to see your faces, ladies. Hi. Okay, so this was the blow up, close up, whatever we want to talk about, right? Or whatever we want to call it. And let's see, what time is it now? So it's 19 after. So let's say
Just
half,
20 after.
like half past, right? Like
Mhm. 30
wherever,
after the hour, half past the hour, wherever
yes,
you are.
whatever hour you are, half past the hour, you could put your answer as to what that is. Okay. And we're going to get started. So some of you have tuned in before, but some of you have not. We thought we would go by storylines this time and just start with like Austin and Zoe's storyline and what we saw and what could be coming of that. I know it's a storyline that irks you a bit, doesn't it, Kathy?
Just a touch.
Yes. What is it that irks you about it? Austin and how he treats Zoe?
You mean Spencer?
Oh, I meant to say Spencer, and I'm saying Austin, and I apologize. Sorry.
No, no worries. I don't see the chemistry, and I really don't see the way he's flirting and getting her dinner and candlelight and all that while he's dating Zoe. I mean, break up with Zoe if you want to go after Alice. You know, it's like he's hedging his bets.
And it's funny because she announces it, and when she says it, like when you made me dinner or something, and Zoe gives them both looks, but yet he made it sound so much like she didn't eat that kind of food. It was no big deal kind of thing. And so I think, of course, the writers are setting up for let's not have a love triangle, but something.
And don't make poor Zoe go mental, because that's just not right. She's a nice girl. And you know, break up with her if you don't want to be with her, because he looked totally guilty.
Yes, he
It's
did.
not even like saying, "Oh yeah, she was feeling down and I made her some dinner." It wasn't any of that.
So I love how they're setting it up, though. That we're going to see not just all the time travel and figuring out the mysteries, but more about how they interact and their life goes on. Cindy's saying it bothers me because of the sneaky way he went behind Zoe's back to have dinner with Alice. You're right.
Yep.
And they're saying, I agree, zero chemistry. And here it says, Spencer said that Zoe didn't like seafood. Yes, that's why he cooked it for, why he didn't cook it for Zoe. You're right, Laura. And then here, I don't know how true that was, because Zoe kind of like looked around. I don't know if it was because that's true, she doesn't like seafood, or that she was like, what? You made her dinner?
Yeah.
Right?
I think it was the latter.
Yeah. Poor Zoe. They agree with you.
I just hope she's not going to be a throwaway character that, you know, Spencer dumps her because she does something outrageous and out of character, and then that'll be the end of Zoe. I like her as a character, even though we haven't seen much of her.
Yeah, it's true. And I love, so she said, but why didn't he tell Zoe that he cooked
He felt guilty.
Yeah. And then I love, because Christina's like, Spencer needs to be with Zoe. I want Alice with a new guy. Okay.
Yeah.
I want Alice with someone that she had such great chemistry with, the act, like Sadie and Sam, great scenes, you know, sharers. They had great chemistry. I want something along those lines. And I do hope that I don't know, see Sam back somehow, you know, who plays young Nick.
You know what I always say? I am not a person to enjoy a show that's driven by plot.
Yes.
I like a show that's driven by character.
Yes.
Get somebody in there that she's got some chemistry with, and that it makes sense that, you know, this new character, supposedly in my mind, that she would be drawn to. Don't do Spencer just because he's there, and because for the sake of a triangle, that doesn't make it. Needs to grow from the character, I think.
That's exactly what Cindy is saying. Cindy's all over this tonight. And they're such good writers. I hope they'll just keep up the great writing that they're doing and not fall into that trap, you know, just to give them something. I mean, there's so much potential there, especially the storyline, I think, that's going to happen between Spencer. I don't know. Why was I calling him Austin? Is that his name on the other show? No. So I just think it's so wonderful. Like they're already starting to set up something between Monica and her son. Like maybe she's a little bit too controlling, right? About his career. But then again, there's so many of us that are wondering who bought the Roxy. Now, I don't know if that's seriously a mystery or not, or if they just didn't talk about it. Or is it Monica and she's the one that gave her son the job?
Did they say a woman bought it?
Did they?
I don't recall that, but I think it would be totally cool if Nick bought it, because I'd love to see that actor come back and have a more prominent role in the show in season 2.
Okay. Oh, that's cute. That JJ said, thank you, Roxanne and Kathy, and thank you everyone for the great
Oh,
questions and support. Aw,
he's a sweetie.
he is. Okay. So back to now the Roxy. Well, let's talk about Monica. I love her character.
I
And
like Monica. She's
don't you
got
think, go ahead.
chutzpah.
She does. And don't you think she could be like the mayor? I know I said this before.
I think she could be Port Haven's answer to Alexis Carrington. She just wants to
Oh.
run everything.
Oh. Oh. You know, before we go there, hold that thought. I wanted to I'm trying to tie up all the we're trying to go in a sequence here.
Mhm.
I just sort of feels like there are limited teens in 2023 storyline. So they just took Spencer and made him the option. If you can't tell, that riles me up. And we
That's
agree
what
with
I
you.
mean. Yep, it's character. I mean, plot. We've got to have a teen storyline. We've got to have maybe a teen triangle. So let's
I
create
know.
one. It just doesn't feel right.
Yeah. But you know what else too? There can be some more stuff there when it comes to secrets and bonding, because there's already sort of that bit of a rift that Monica and Kat have, right? She said that was my nemesis. Remember, she said that when she first came to town. So they probably didn't really get along that well. And then to come find out their children become like BFFs. They don't we don't need to have Spencer and Kat be not Kat, Alice be more than just friends, and I just think it's
And
cool.
Alice doesn't have to be the it girl in every timeline.
Yes.
She was the
Yeah.
it girl in 1999 and 2000. She doesn't have to be
Yes.
it in 2023. She's
Yes.
beautiful and smart and everything, but every guy on the show doesn't have to drop dead for her.
Yes. I'm loving what Brian says. Is it ethical for time travelers to have multiple boyfriends?
Well, yeah.
Oh. And I love where it says, okay, maybe Monica and Kat will. Monica and Kat, it was a woman who bought the Roxy. Okay, that's what Arlene's saying.
Okay.
Per the moms, a young upstart is how they described her. Oh, wonder
That's
who
interesting.
this young upstart is. Huh.
I hope it's not what's her name that goes with what's his name. Brady's little strumpet. What's her name?
Do you imagine why they don't?
I
They live in Minnesota.
I have no idea why they would even. Maybe Brady talked her into it because he wants to be near Alice, or I don't know. I have no idea, but I would hope they wouldn't go there.
Oh, yes. Okay, so this I love what someone's saying here. I'm gonna do a little highlight there. Okay, so the
Ooh.
rocks. Go ahead. You saw that?
Well, I'm seeing Tony's comment, and I'm wondering if it could be his ex, who hasn't quite given up on him yet.
Oh,
Now that I could dig on
that
that.
would be a fun storyline. I love that.
Depending on who's playing the role, if they get a good actress and she's got some
Yes.
chemistry with Evan, that would be.
Yes.
I like that.
Yes.
Because okay, we haven't gotten to
All right.
part of the
So
conversation yet.
the Roxy itself is like a character. And I loved how it was a movie theater, and then they said they got rid of it and they changed it. But the theater part is really like a stage, and now everybody's up there singing and showcasing, and then they had karaoke night. So I just think it's a great spot for them to hang out other than always at the cafe or outside. So I think it's a great avenue for all kinds of cool things. And look who it had on. Isn't that cool? Someone who's local, their band, and it was that story in itself was amazing. It was like
Yeah.
so meant to be. And I hope that they invite him back. And I
want to see them in season 2 for sure.
I would love to see them sing, like you said, like with Sadie or whatever. I think that's just cool. Too cool. So now let's talk about Nick's family. I love how they're not a very big part of the storyline yet, but they are there. They're there for you see them there for the funeral. You see them there for like different parts of they come in to play cards with Dell. I love seeing them there, and and we know that they must have adopted other children, or maybe they gave birth. I'm not sure because they could do that too. But so they have this extended family that we only hear a little bit about, but they're smart because they can bring them in for next season,
And
right?
to see them planning the wedding, and that would involve Monica and
Yes.
Spencer catering it. And, I can see that potential wedding, being a big hub of the town, a
I
social.
I do too. Um,
Oh, it's 1/2 past.
it is. I don't know what that was. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I didn't mean to highlight that one. I'm sorry, Chris. I highlight that. I like this part. I did see it's 1/2 past. Did you see Elliot chatting with the blonde at the Roxy? I did. I'm not sure who that possibly could be. Maybe it was just an extra, but maybe it is something more because that's when he started to act weird. He started watching her with Brady and just started distancing himself. So that's a whole other thing. All right. Do we have a winner?
I think we do. I think it's Linda at 7:30 p.m. or 7:30 my time.
It is Linda Frick.
Frick or Fricky?
Frick. I know I have Fricks in my town, and that's how we pronounce it. But I mean, they spell it, but it could be Linda Fricky. I don't know.
Well, no,
All
if
right.
you have friends in your town, then we're just going to change the pronunciation, aren't we?
No, we're not. Don't say that. Okay. Linda Frick or Fricky. If we're not saying it properly, I apologize. All right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Um, that I want to talk about that now, even though that's later, because I'm afraid it'll get lost in our comments. What a wonderful observation that was like in the back of my mind, but we've never voiced this or talked about this even last time. I was still wanted to talk a little bit more about Monica, but let's jump into this for a minute if you don't mind. I find it strange that there were no men at the funeral. Like Colton didn't have a best friend. There were all women there except for Elliot.
Elliot and Brady. Wasn't Brady there?
Well, yeah, because he was there for Cat, but there were no men of the town. There are no men in the town except for, well,
No
except,
budget for extras that day.
well, no, in general, most of the characters are
It
like,
was all wrapped up in his family. When would he have had time to hang out with the boys?
yeah, true. I mean, we hear about them, but
I
we
can
don't.
very well see Dell making it private. In fact, didn't they say it was a private
Yes, they did. They
service?
did. You're right. For her closest friends,
Yeah, yeah.
because and we know that the father was next door. Elliot's family was next door. They were fishermen out to sea a lot. That's why Elliot spent so much time with them. So I don't know. Maybe they'll explore that more. That's interesting. That's interesting. So we've got Monica. I keep saying this. I think of Monica. I feel like Monica and Kat are going to become really good friends as time goes on.
I think so too. BFFs for sure.
I see that. And I feel like she's the kind of person that says it like it is. Like she's like a no nonsense. And I mean, I like that about her. But you know what I love the best about her in the last
Oops.
scene? Well, I do love her clothes, but in that last scene, so there's Brady and Elliot, and Brady's like, "Hey, come in, sit down," and Brady being he's just a jerk, but I don't know that he means to be a jerk, but he does. I think it's his insecurity. And he talked a little bit about it, but how he wants that fancy coffee and Elliot just wants black house coffee, right? But I love how Monica's like, Elliot, she's very like nurturing towards him and she has a soft spot for him and she's kind of sticking up for him,
Well, who doesn't know Elliot's backstory? Poor guy has been in love with Kat for his entire life, and he's just been on a yo-yo.
Yeah, I know, but I love that she is protective of him and she cares about him and that shows her soft side. She's good, Yeah.
I can see what you were saying earlier, Monica and Kat becoming besties, and I can also see some tension maybe disrupting that for a while with Spencer and Alice. And I'm not sure in what form one of them likes the other more than the other likes them, or
Oh.
just, I think Spencer may have some layers that,
Yeah.
aren't necessarily Mr. Nice Guy all the time. We'll see.
Yeah. I always say this too. I agree with you, Christina, that Monica reminds her a bit of Rosemary from When Calls the Heart. I think so too. Sort of got that character that is like a go-getter, speaks her mind, fashionable. I see that.
Yeah.
I see that. Um, so Brady, when he came in and everybody, when they had the previews and he was holding that folder and it was for divorce papers, I said, I thought it was probably for divorce papers, but if not, what if, and this could still happen, what if he bankrolled her or because he's into publishing, his family was, right? And they kind of were trying to getting her a publishing deal. What if he helps her in some way? And that will be his connection to still keep coming back to town, other than see his daughter with the newspaper. He helps her buy it from Byron.
I don't know. That didn't occur to me. That's an interesting theory.
And Monica, someone was saying, I saw this somewhere, I highlighted it, but they said, and Monica and she go in on it together somehow.
That could happen.
Yeah.
I'm
And
not convinced we've seen the last of Byron. I'm not convinced he's going to sell that newspaper and, go off into the sunset or Marrakesh, whichever comes first.
let's talk about Byron. So I was trying to figure out how they would keep that connection with Brady. And I know it's to come and see his daughter every now and again, but I would think he would need more of a storyline. So that's what I was trying to, if he owns something or something. That was just my ideas. It doesn't mean anything.
I think for the first time, that scene with him sitting in the cafe with Elliot, I think that may have been the first time I felt any sympathy for Byron, for Brady.
Yes, yeah.
Because what came across to me is it's almost like he knew his marriage with Kat was on borrowed time. It's like he knew deep down her soulmate is Elliot because, as he pointed out so aptly, whenever there's trouble or she's in pain, she reaches out for him. And she did it when she heard about her father's death. She did the memorial service for Jacob. She's done it a few times. And I think Brady knew that. And that may have been the source of contention on his part of why the marriage didn't work. Since they haven't even bothered introducing an actress to play, what's her name? She starts with an R, his girlfriend. Rachel, is it? Anyway, they haven't even bothered introducing her. I think what's going to happen is he's going to show back up. And, we broke up. And I just thought this was a good time for me to, I can work virtually, with the firm. And I just thought it'd be a good time to spend some time with Alice and, see what happens from that.
Okay. That makes sense. I'm sorry. I put off somebody said something. They agreed that, that conversation was how Laura felt for the first time. Yeah. With Brady, like some sympathy, but this was true. Like Norma says, she forgot to call Brady after she found Alice. I know.
She rebounded very quickly.
Yeah. Okay. So now we're on to this Byron. There are so many theories out there. I'm excited to say that the actor Nigel, we're going to be doing some special edition like not recaps, but podcasts coming up. And after Easter, after that whole Easter break, Nigel will be back. He is from England. So we like London area, we will have to have a different time, which is okay. He is going to come on and y'all have all these theories. He's going to be so excited that we are so into his character. And I know a lot of people, they saw that picture of them running once again through the woods. And there's some people captured it off of their TV screen. And the actor that is there looks like a young version of Byron. And many people think of him as like the witch hunter kind of thing. What do you think?
I think he could easily be that. In fact, my thought was, I remember I brought this up to you. Do you remember Angel, the series Angel?
Yep.
And it's at one point, like in the third season, he had this baby and this nemesis from his past stole the baby and ran to another dimension and raised a child. And he was allegedly a good guy, a vampire hunter, I think he was, but he was ruthless and corrupt. And I think Byron could be someone like that. who thinks he's right, thinks he's doing something for the good, and all he's doing is, destroying lives. I don't
Yes.
think he may truly care for Dell, but I can't shake the feeling that there's something shady. They didn't introduce this guy just to come on and offer Kat a job and try to be the romantic interest for Dell, and then mysteriously hurt his leg, and then just as mysteriously, well, I've got this wife that I lost that nobody has ever heard of, and I've got to go to Marrakesh. Who goes to Marrakesh just from Port Haven? I mean, come on.
Well, I'm also Brian, we're going to address that in 1 minute. Do not let me forget Brian's thing, because Brian's question, because I want to put this up. Do you think they will go into more detail about the other names in the almanac than the name below Kat and the name below Jacob? Hold that thought. How about the ripped pages from the almanac? Do you think Byron, because he was sleeping in that room, he was like taking some stuff?
And except it's hard to believe Byron would have missed the little writing on that page that was left. But I believe it was him.
Maybe he didn't really miss the writing. Maybe he saw it and didn't know, but maybe there's
Or
something.
maybe he got it interrupted.
Yes.
And just had to tear the pages out real quick.
Yes.
Because it seems like he would have done it more slick, where you just, and nobody would notice the pages were missing.
Yeah. Okay. And then there is much more to, Linda, to that almanac. I really do think it holds more of a story, and we're going to find out more, just because it's been referenced how many times, and it's considered a signpost, and again they talk about it. Just, this is where everybody, it puts their names. Remember, she was so upset she couldn't put the date in, Dell, so her daughter did it for her. Then they I think even Kat opened it to look at it, and then just so many different times, again and again. So, and even in the end when she looks, that's what triggers Kat's mind of, oh my gosh, I know where he is. So yes.
Is there Tracy in there?
Yes, everybody, please, that's all over our fan page. Everybody's got all kinds of goodies on there. So let's, before we go any further, Barbara's saying she didn't think the picture looked like a young Byron at all. But Brian, your question here, it says, do we know yet if all of season 1 creative team, showrunners, writing team is returning for season 2? So here's the thing. So this is a little different, Brian, than most Hallmark shows. This was written for it wasn't written for Hallmark. It was something that was already written, put together, and was going to be pitched somewhere else. And for whatever reasons, I don't know all the details, or I don't know if they'll ever share all of that, but it was given to Hallmark, picked it up. So that's a team. That's a creative baby of it's a mother-daughter team, and they're writers and showrunners and producers, and it's their baby. I think, yeah, it's their baby. They'll be back. It's their story. It's not something that Hallmark put together. So it's my opinion. Okay, so now how about getting into this whole, what in the world happened with Colton? Like, why? I understand why he died, and he was going to die anyway. And I really don't think his original death was caused by Kat. I think there was always something that was there. But so many people think he can't time travel, and it's not his family that has the ability to time travel. And if he's dead, are we going to see him again? I don't know. What do you think?
We better.
I know that. Yes, I know.
I think we'll see him again, just because this show is just, they got me going in circles. And if he died in 2 different ways, it was to say there won't be a third opportunity to go back and change things, and this time it works, that they save him. That's what I think. I think by the time all is said and done, we're going to have a scene where all the Landrys are together. Now, I don't know if they'll stay that way, but I believe there's going to be a scene where we see them all together, and, just before they launch some new mystery about them.
Okay. All right. Now, hold that thought because I love when there's a delay. And you've said this before, and I don't know what my feelings are about it. So I'm just listening to what you have to say because I really don't have much more to say about it because I'm just so stuck with it. I don't know. Now, this is interesting. And I remember someone else bringing this up. This is good stuff here. Byron is a reporter, so he's always seeking a story. So maybe he's doing research on the Landry. So maybe that is why he's there in Port Haven, originally writing a book on Jacob missing. Or I saw some great things on our fan page where he talks about being in the war. Does he say which war when he's talking to Dell, where he got his head injuries?
Probably revolutionary.
Well, in 1840, the War of 1812 didn't last just in 1812. It went on for many years. Canada was very much involved. There was a lot that, that whole territory area. He could have maybe in his travels back then, he got a head injury. Maybe he's from the past.
Maybe he's from the past and he thinks the White Witch killed his wife.
Or something.
Yes. He's followed her to the future.
Or took his kid.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who knows?
My kid, I'm going to take yours.
He did say the Gulf War? Okay.
Well, he wouldn't admit it was in the War of 1812. He could be lying.
Yeah.
We should have asked JJ if he can act because he'd be a perfect grown-up Jacob.
I know people wondering who is Jacob. That's funny. That's true. I don't know who's going to play him. I think Dell had a new memory when they were dancing. So we're back now on whatever was going on with Colton. I don't know. And Dell, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think that being able to time travel is just about genetics and a family bloodline, because the dog can time travel. And I remember, I can't get out of my head when young Alice is, she's always young. She's running through the tree, going to jump back in the pond, and her mother's following her. But as she's doing that, her story is unraveling. It's the only story that she wrote. And it was about the giant cucumber. And what the, was it Mr. Landis? Is that what his name was? The farmer, he talked about the soil. He said there was something special about the soil and about Port Haven. And I think there's more to that. I think that there's something about Port Haven itself.
I'm only taking my cues from Outlander, the only other time travel series I follow. With them, it was family. It was blood-based, and nobody else. With them, it was the big stone.
Yes.
And this one is the pond. I don't know. I think it is related to the bloodline.
Is it New Haven or Port Haven? They live in
Port Haven.
Isn't that funny? Port, and I know it's a port, but there's a portal, and the pond is the portal, and there's a port. I don't know. That's my opinion, though. I think it's more about the area too. So maybe you're thinking the town is like the Stones, and the people who have the ability to time travel will time travel, even because, like in Outlander, he didn't know all those years that he could time travel. The one that marries the daughter,
Roger.
Because Roger didn't realize who his mother was, but Claire figures it out.
You inherit the ability. Yep.
Yep. So, and then their baby, they weren't sure if she could pass but she was pregnant, and it all worked out. So, okay. Good point about Finn. Yes. Being able to time travel. Nix is the family line, being only the ones who can travel. It's true. That's why I think it's something about the area, because the dog can time travel. And I'm not so convinced that Elliot won't be able to, because I think the time he jumped in and he tried to time travel, that it wasn't right for him time to go, because they did do that to Alice. Remember, she tried to jump back in and it didn't. It's the soil. It's special in that town. That's what Sue is saying. It is. And that, again, could be like the Stones or whatever you were saying. It's like the portal of it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. The sand and the soil, people are saying. Good point about Finn and him traveling. At least with the Stones, they were dry. All right. This is someone new. I don't know how to pronounce your beautiful name. How do you say that?
Crash? Or
is it?
Cherish?
That's cool. Okay, I personally think it's the pond, and it picks who and when can time travel, and that Simon at some point will be able to. Who's Simon?
Are you thinking of Elliot?
Elliot? Maybe. It's like me.
Elliot. She meant Elliot.
Okay, me saying, I'm sorry. Well, that's okay because I was calling Spencer Austin. I don't even know where I got that. Oh, wait. Now they're acting goofy. Claire left Jamie and decided to get engaged to Nick. We're crossing over shows. Come on now. I'm sorry. I like the young Nick, but he is no match. I mean, he does have that glory hair up for Jamie. Oh my goodness, he's so delicious.
Yeah.
Okay. Water is an escape in many ways, literally and figuratively. Very true. Okay, so now this whole Finn and Jacob thing. They are definitely attached. And didn't we hear a dog barking because it was running through the woods chasing her, like maybe bloodhounds? But do you think the dog somehow is going to wind up with Jacob back in like 1814 or
I think he might be the key to leading Cat to Jacob.
And I'm thinking because he's such a young guy and he was afraid of the water, he was afraid the dog was drowning, right? And he sort of leans in. So what if he falls in and when he comes back out, where is he? Like, why is it that he can't get to the back?
He's in 1814, and for some reason he can't get back to the pond, perhaps. Or maybe, he hurts himself and doesn't remember. And, because Cat said very clearly, I'll be back for you, Jacob. So he's there.
Okay. All right. All right. Let's see. And wondering if the dog can time travel to all time periods, not just 99. And I want to know where Dell got him and how old he was. I know. Yeah. And I think Finn visits Jacob because there's always something about a boy and his dog,
He brought
all
the dog
along.
back.
Yeah. I was saying to Kathy, one of the first people I asked to come on the show before it even started, I was getting all my ducks in a row. And that was the actor who plays Jacob. And mom said that it was too late. And I don't think she realized the time difference. Unless she's on this side of Canada, then she would be the same. I don't think they were. But I was also thinking he's a little guy. You're afraid of spoilers and whatnot. But I'm going to ask again. And I'm really hoping that he can come on because now there's nothing to spoil. And I want to know about him working with the dog and going through the fun house. And just, he's such a cute little actor. I thought it would be great to have him on. We'll try. All right. So someone's saying maybe his memory issue.
Who,
right?
Ken or Jacob?
But if he had a memory issue after he first went in the pond, how did the quote get in the almanac?
The quote that was on that little scrap of paper that was left in there.
Yeah.
See, I don't think Jacob wrote that. No kid writes has handwriting like that.
Okay. All right. All right. So there's more to this, of course, and that's the whole thing that they're going to spin. I don't know who feels like this, but I feel like we're going to see not just 2023 or 4, whatever. And I think we're going to go back into 1999 again, or 2000,
2000.
something. I feel like we are, but I also, of course, we're definitely going to see the 1800s. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Somebody was asking me this before we move on. Right here. Any news on Kyler if she's going to reschedule? She is. They said that she would. I had to give some dates, but then I also said that because we were finished with just it being on this date, that we were open to whatever, if that made it easier for her. She's a lovely publicist. He's a nice guy. Yeah. Okay, so maybe Kat gives Finn something of Jacob's and tells him to find Jacob, and Kat follows him to the pond and jumps in, and that's how she winds up in 1814.
I think that's
Arlene?
totally plausible.
Okay, I love that. All right, so Elliot, he's I could get why, because Kyler was talking about this in a note on her. She posted it and wrote it on Twitter or her Instagram account, where the two of them, Evan and she, really worked hard on those feelings of, sadness and letting go, and they understood like why he would want to go. But I don't think it's the truth. Did you? You said before no,
No,
right?
no. I think he knows something, and everything he's doing is to protect Kat and maybe Alice too. But yeah, I don't think for one skinny minute he meant any of that.
Okay.
But
Someone
I
is
also didn't mind, after I gave it some thought, I don't mind him kind of breaking her heart for the moment, because she's been crushing his for like 20, 25 years.
Mhm.
So, she can have to work a little, get him back.
And I think besides Kat going and trying to save, find Jacob and save Jacob, I think that might be one of her superpowers. Like, she's going to find a lot of these different missing people. Do you know what I mean? Like, it could become, after that is solved, maybe that's something that she does, because there's a lot of news articles. Go ahead, Kathy. I'm sorry.
No, I was
Yeah.
just thinking that, if they're going to have an 1814 storyline that Kat goes back to, I think it could be plausible and kind of fun if we see the current actors appearing as their ancestors in 1814. I think that could be really, really cool. They did that a little bit with Outlander, just with that horrible, insane man that turned out to be the great, great, great uncle of her husband. He was hideous. Yeah. But I
Yeah.
think that would be really cool.
He was hideous. So I feel like she's going to have more of a, be like the newspaper reporter kind of. I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot of hidden information there, and they want to such great details as props to write these elaborate stories, and people zeroed in on them. And when you read them, there's like a story of back then, this person went missing, just kind of disappeared. The two brothers, they kind of looked alike. There was that. And then there was another. So I feel like maybe as this, they're sort of setting it up, this could be something she does. She's sort of like investigative, but it's because she can time travel that she solves these mysteries of what happened.
I wouldn't be surprised if she goes back to the archives and tries to look up some of these stories. They're all gone now.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, why would they be gone?
He went to all the trouble of making sure she's not around, and she returned all that stuff. I think somebody else came in looking for something. I think he'd get rid of them so that nobody else could figure out what's going on.
Okay. Catherine said the older Jacob could have written something in the almanac. Laura, me too, about Jacob. Oh, he could have written in the almanac, because the almanac's been since 1814. He could have written it back then and wrote, and not that he came to the present time. So he's stuck there and he's growing up. And then he gets to come back grown up. Oh.
Or this is all a book that Kat is writing and JK really stands for. Just kidding.
That would be terrible. I'm not even listening to that. I would be mad.
That's what they said about Dallas. Come on.
I know. Remember that? Laura, Laura, me too, about Jacob writing the quote, he has grown up, but he wants Kat to know he is okay. All right. Someone posted a screenshot of a man chasing the White Witch in 1814 that looked like Byron. Yes, Kathy, we talked about that. Some people say no, and then some people say yes. And it did from back in the day. And it could be. That's why we were saying he was some kind of a hunter. This is funny. I feel like I'm in the fun house, and the storyline is all smoke and mirrors, and they've done a great job of creating this intrigue with time travel. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
True. All right. Looking good. I think we have covered all of the different storylines and where they could possibly be going. Norma mentioned leaving messages on the baseball, and if you use permanent marker, that would work to relay messages back and forth. There was some stuff written on that baseball, and part of it was chewed off and chewed away. And it says Kat has to solve the Jacob story, and Elliot knows she can't be there for him entirely, so he let her go.
I don't think that's it. I think he let her go to protect her for some reason. I just don't. The Elliot we saw from 1999 all the way up to the present was not someone who was going to let her go easily after waiting all those years to get her, in my opinion.
Okay. So there's a couple things happening what they're saying in the chat. There weren't any permanent markers back then, but you know what? Do you remember? And I don't think that this was just a little slight. I think we're going to see more of it happen. Do you remember how the business card traveled through time?
Mhm.
You
For
don't,
the grief group.
yeah, is in his pocket. It could have traveled back through time. I don't know.
Look at the almanac.
Maybe Kat thinks about it and decides to take it. And I don't know. Yes, the almanac. I mean, there's just maybe Kat writes a message to Jacob now. And Barbara was saying, I was assuming all along that he wrote it back then. Didn't ever occur that to me that he came to the present to write it. I don't think he's in the present. I don't think he's visited the present, but I don't know.
You never know.
Yeah. All right. So this is our last recap. We wanted to do that for the Canadian friends.
The last recap.
Stop it. But we are going to have our special episodes, aren't we?
We are.
And they're not just going to be on Monday nights at 8. It's going to be what is at the convenience of our guests that would like to join us.
Yep.
So if you can't catch us live, which I hope you can, we will, it always posts. And this has been fun. We'll be all over the fan page. We have some more goodies that'll be coming up on the fan page. We are, as we speak right now.
6.2.
I wanted to, before we go anywhere, I wanted to, let's see. I saw a public service announcement of something else. We are almost at, we're 6.1 right now, which is pretty amazing. Amazing.
It really is.
So we should watch for the Facebook group for event announcements. Laura, and friends, anyone that's here, and I say this, it sounds like, oh, I'm promoting, but here's the best thing to do. If you subscribe to the channel, and then you can't do this without subscribing. Otherwise, I'd just say do this. And you click the bell for notifications, and you can be in the wait. Anytime something like that comes up, you will get notified. You'll get notified of other things I'm doing, but you'll definitely get notified of that. And yes, the fan page, we will definitely have it all over the fan page. This is Kathy saying, wow, when I joined the page, we only had 300.
Mm-hmm. This is a popular show.
I know. This is who wrote this?
Kathy.
Yeah.
Oh.
And it's Crash. She said it's a mix of her name, or I think her husband's and her son's. I think Elliot was upset that Kat and Alice wouldn't listen to him, and he wanted to take some control of his own life. Okay. Christina thinks Dell knows about the pond. Karen says Elliot started withdrawing after his last conversation with Kat at his house. She said, I'll try to let go of the past, and then kisses him, and he didn't seem to really kiss her back. We did talk about.
I keep going back to his notebook where he checks off every time something happens that was,
Mm-hmm.
and there's still plenty of stuff on that notebook after he checks off the last thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think he knows something that is going to happen, and maybe he's going to try to prevent it, or he knows it has to fulfill itself,
or he's just had enough. It could be that he's just had enough. And then I was thinking it could be that he's just had enough, but we're going to find out that he's got his own story that's going to be unraveling. Joke's on him kind of thing, What about Dell? We did talk a little bit about Dell. I don't feel like Dell has her own storyline other than she's grieving, trying to figure out what's going on. Maybe if Dell does know about time travel, pardon me?
I still think there's mystery about Dell. That's one that they didn't solve because she had that, I don't know if it was a dream or memory or what, but that dance with, who, GH, I'll call him GH from now on. She had that dance that had to mean something, but they didn't go into it.
Yeah. Okay. And I'm also wondering what's the issue that Dell about her, like if she knows where her son is, maybe she knows where her son is and there's a reason why he can't come back. Maybe she knows some of, you know what I mean? Like she knows, and that's the heartbreak because she can't figure out how to, I don't know. I'm not sure. Dell knows about the pond. Okay. Okay. I'm not saying no to that. I can
She's not a
see.
Landry, so if that's what the key is, she can't travel
Okay.
full time.
What's Gloria saying? Oh my God, what am I going to do on Mondays at this time? I will keep a lookout for your special podcast. Also, I do receive notifications when you post something for the group. That's good. And Gloria, I've got stuff. Gloria, I don't know. Are you a Chris McNally fan? Are you going to be interested in watching Grease? Because that's coming up. I'm doing that on Sundays. So there's stuff that's always coming up. We're just, we got plans for you. We got plans. So I have an idea. And I didn't even ask Kathy this idea, so she's going to be surprised. I think I shared it with Chris and Christina. And because I want to do it for all of our fan pages. What if we did this? Like, this is up to us, though, only if we want to. Let's say, like, Chris and Christina, they're together in Ohio, and I'm here in New Jersey, and you're out there in Illinois. And if we said, we're going to have a meetup. So my Jersey people that live pretty close by, we're going to go to like Cracker Barrel. We love going there, and have a section where we just sit and we talk and we chat about the way home. And we're fans that gush together and geek out. And you're doing it too. And girls are doing, we're all doing it on the same day around the same time. And then Christina, myself, and you, we could link each other in and we could all see each other. That would be cool. We'd have like our own little meetup.
That would be fun. Probably logistically impossible to do at the same time.
Yeah, I know it wouldn't. Well, Ohio and New Jersey have the same time zone. You're only 1 hour off. So we could do it. You don't know me, Kathy. You know me, Kathy. I was just going to say, you know me. You know when I have like an idea.
Yeah.
I know. Is Sue here? Sue's in Arabia. You know me when I'm like a dog with a bone when I have an idea. All right. Let's see. I don't want to say goodnight, but we have to say goodnight. What are some of these cool things I don't want to miss out? Karen says, when Brady was in the cafe with Elliot, I wanted to slap him. He wants you to feel sorry for him, but he doesn't feel sorry for rubbing his relation with Kat and Elliot's face. It's true.
Brady was a complete jerk.
He was just a brat. What's Barbara saying? It sure seemed like she knew about the pond when she was talking to Alice about it in the being frozen in the winter, and the very beginning when she talked to her about the pond.
Stay away.
Yes. But that could be like a red herring. I don't know. And Kathy's saying, Catherine, that's what I thought too. He mentioned the stars to Teen Cat. Oh, okay. Like that was her clue about getting back. Oh, I don't know. Maybe Dell didn't want to travel in time because she knows she can't change anything. Wow, that made us speechless.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Laura, I'll be your Ohio contact for a group get together. Really? Well, Laura, our two moderators on our page, they're really just like admins, like we are. They do everything with us. Are Christina Lohman right here. This is Christina. She's from Ohio area. And Chris, well, it's Christine. Christine's here somewhere too. If you go and you look, you'll see their names. So you might be able to coordinate that together. That would be great. Thank you for volunteering. I will put a thing out for that. Karen, are you talking about when Alice and Colton say they think they know about the pond? Okay. They're just talking with each other. Mm-hmm. They're saying where, Akron, and all that good stuff they're saying. Okay. Near Cincinnati. Chris G is in Cincy too. Okay, so yeah, there you go. You got a little groupies, and I got group going on too. And Kathy's like, I'm not doing it.
I didn't say that.
I sprung it on her.
I'm not sure. I know at least one person who's in my area, so yeah, that would be fun as long as it's like a summer thing.
Okay, is there anyone out there you think wants to do a review? Like a fan that wants to hop on with us one day and give a review. Yes, Kathy Williams, we're going to do a meetup. Anyone who wants to do a review. Wait a minute, Brian, are you a Buckeye? Are you in Ohio, Brian? Oh, they're looking for people in Mississippi. Well, we'll put this out there and we'll figure out who wants to host and we'll get us together. And interview.
Any people from Hawaii, I would, consider joining that one.
Okay. Oh, in an interview, Colton and Alice raised their hands in response to a question asking if Dell knows. Okay. Yes, I saw that. I see what you're saying. I'm only 3 hours from you, Kathy, in Michigan. I'll come see you. Oh, that's what Cindy's saying.
Cindy.
Am I doing anything in April? Well, yes, I got quite a busy time going. So I haven't posted and I will, but on Thursday, I have Callie coming on. Callie is a Hallmark girl. She was in It's Just a Kiss and Lights, Camera, Christmas, a lot of things, but she also plays Peg in Grease. So I got some Grease stuff coming up, and some of the stuff is connected straight up to Hallmark. But then I'm doing some things with the blessing bracelet. I have one of my favorites, Morgana Wiley. She's coming on. And I forget who else on what days, but yes, I do have some stuff coming up. I do. All right. Okay. Where at, Brian? They're asking, they're talking to each other. I don't want to shut them down without them saying that. So, Kathy, this has been fun.
It has been.
It has been. Are we has-beens?
It's been real.
It's been real.
We'll be back for on the other podcast. When Call the Heart starts again?
That doesn't start till July. And I was thinking, I didn't even announce this yet, but I was thinking I wanted to do something with, I wanted to do some When Calls the Heart Wednesdays. What do we know? And not starting rumors or anything, and not yet, still too early. But if we went on Wednesdays, not every Wednesday, probably maybe twice a month, and we broke down and we showed what it is that we do know. I haven't said a word, and there's all these crazy things out there in theories, but that piece that they gave us where Elizabeth is doing her voiceover and she says quite a bit and we see quite a few things. I think we've learned a lot from that. And there are some things that we can discuss.
Mm-hmm.
And then just as, we lead up, because then we start in July, the end of July, we'll be back on Monday nights. But here's the thing. I know we usually have a guest come on and I love that. But I feel like we're going to have a stumbling block where I feel they're going to be filming. So they're not going to be so free.
Right.
The writers and things are, but I feel like it will not, I'm just going to say this. I feel like they're not going to allow it. Probably they'll want the official fan page that does the recordings. But here's the thing about that. And I'm just going to put this out here because I'm getting a little fed up with certain things. It's like annoying me. This is free promotion for you, right? So even with being the official fan page, they could interview the same person that you and I are interviewing, and they could have done it before us, and they could just go look up our numbers. Our numbers outshine them, like not by 500. Our numbers are, we have more views than they do, or more participation than they do. So, not for nothing, I'm not saying we're the greatest, but I don't feel like just because you're the official that you should block somebody. Do you know what I mean? And I'm coming up against that on a few things. People are asking me why I am not doing anything with Ride, and I wasn't going to speak about it, but I will. And here's what I want to say. I was told I wasn't allowed to. I was not allowed to interview anybody from the show. Nothing to do with the show. Flat out was told that by it's a Hallmark publicist. I've never dealt with the publicist. And I'm like, okay, so I can't. But as she's telling me no, I see these people, them on these other podcasts. Some are very small. Their numbers are not as big as ours. So I'm trying to look at it from like a business standpoint, why you would say no to one and yes to another. And there's no reasoning. I can't figure it out. We've never given out spoilers. We've never done anything illegal. I will not promote. I won't do any copywriting infringement, none of that. So I don't understand what the issue is. So flat out told no, not one person. And I thought, okay, fine. So
It is what it is.
Putting all that out there, just letting you all know because I had enough. Just being real. All right, people are saying they enjoyed. We enjoyed. My parents live in a small town. Oh, they're just talking to each other, saying thank you. Oh, you're welcome. We have a really good time. We're enjoying it.
This has been a blast. Looking forward to
Yes.
season 2.
Yes. All right, we're going to say good night.
Good night, all.
Good night.